told you that, like, the fastest way to memorize a complex grammar rule isn't by staring at a textbook?
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, it's actually by learning how to lie to your friends.
Wait, seriously?
Seriously. I mean, think about your own experiences learning a new subject. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Usually pretty painful.
exactly.
Yeah.
You sit in a classroom, you stare at a whiteboard, and you're just handed this dry formula, like subject plus verb plus object.
Right, the classic, the apple is red kind of thing.
Yeah. The boy walks to the store. Sentences that are just totally disconnected from any real human experience.
Completely sterile.
But today, for our deep dive, we are looking at a beginner's English guide that just completely ditches that sterile laboratory vibe.
Thank goodness.
Right. It takes a basic verb lesson and turns it into this high-stakes, surprisingly manipulative domestic soap opera.
It really does. It just totally flips the standard teaching model on its head.
So, to give you some background, we're analyzing an instructional document today. It's simply titled English Guide Regular Past Verbs -ED.
And it's cataloged as Lesson 67, right?
Yeah, lesson 67. And the target audience here is absolute beginners,
Right. So in language acquisition terms, we're talking about level A1 learners.
which is a tough spot to be in.
Oh, it's incredibly tough. At that stage, the cognitive load on a human brain is just staggering. I mean, your working memory is pretty much maxed out just trying to decode the alphabet.
Yeah, let alone basic phonetics.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then they expect you to start conjugating verbs on top of that.
Let's actually pause on that concept for a second, because I want to make sure we're really unpacking the mechanics of what makes learning so exhausting at the start.
Sure.
When you say cognitive load, you're talking about the mental bandwidth required to simply, hold the information in your head before you even try to use it, right?
Precisely. Think of your brain's short-term memory as a very small table.
Okay, a small table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the A1 level, every new word is this heavy, awkwardly shaped box
Mhm.
that you have to somehow balance on that table. And if the teacher just dumps 20 isolated vocabulary words plus a complex grammatical matrix onto the table all at once.
The table collapses.
Exactly. The table collapses. The student forgets everything, they get frustrated, and they completely disengage.
Which makes total sense.
But traditional textbooks often ignore this entirely. They present grammar as semantic memory.
And semantic memory, that's like,
That's the memorization of abstract facts without any context. Like, Paris is the capital of France.
or add ed to make a verb past tense.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the human brain is notoriously terrible at retaining semantic memory without extreme, painful repetition.
Which is why this source material is so fascinating to me. It doesn't use semantic memory at all.
Not even a little bit.
No, it bypasses it entirely by forcing the grammar into an episodic memory framework.
It builds a story.
It builds a story. And the mission of our deep dive today is to explore exactly how this document constructs that narrative.
It really is wild.
It takes this deeply mechanical linguistic rule, just adding a suffix to a verb, and wraps it in a story about deception, lazy roommates, and photographic evidence.
And it does this while utilizing a really clever bilingual safety net.
Oh, right, the translations.
Yeah. The source material strategically includes translations in the learner's native language. In this specific case, it's Chinese.
Right.
And it prints those directly alongside the English text. But, and this is key, it doesn't use the translation as a crutch.
How so?
It uses it to lower that cognitive load we just talked about.
Oh, I see.
It frees up the learner's mental bandwidth so they can focus entirely on the drama of the narrative and the specific grammar rule, rather than panicking over what a word means.
That is so smart. Okay, well, let's get into the actual architecture of this lesson.
Let's do it.
The guide kicks off by introducing this conceptual framework it calls the time machine.
A great metaphor.
Yeah, it tells the learner that to travel from the present to the past, you need a temporal marker. And the specific marker it uses is the weekend. And to operate this time machine, it isolates just 5 specific action verbs: work, clean, cook, play, and watch.
Now, if you look closely at that specific selection of verbs, it reveals some brilliant underlying psychology.
Really? How so?
Well, those aren't just 5 random, highly frequent words pulled from a dictionary algorithm. They represent a fundamental binary of human existence.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, they are divided perfectly into 2 opposing categories. On one side, we have the domain of labor, right?
To work, to clean, to cook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the other side, we have the domain of leisure.
To play, to watch.
Precisely.
So you're saying the author is establishing a psychological conflict before the grammar is even introduced.
It goes even deeper than that. By setting up this labor versus leisure dichotomy, the guide taps into a cultural universal.
Right, because everyone deals with that.
Exactly. Regardless of where you live, what language you speak, what your background is, everyone understands the friction between duty and indulgence.
We all know the guilt of needing to clean, but choosing to play video games instead.
Exactly. So the text is subconsciously preparing the learner's brain for a narrative about what we should do versus what we actually do.
Wow.
It creates an emotional resonance with the vocabulary before the words are even conjugated.
I mean, I see the psychological setup there, but I do want to push back on the mechanics for just a moment.
Okay, go for it.
Because to navigate this conflict between labor and leisure, the guide introduces a mathematical formula. It literally prints on the page, action plus ed equals past.
Right.
And it repeatedly refers to this ed suffix as the magic tail.
The magic tail.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this and thinking about, like, computer programming.
Oh, interesting comparison.
Well, it treats the English language like a basic coding script. Like, if you want to execute a command in the past tense, you just append this magic tail code, ed, to the base action string.
It's syntactic copy-paste.
Exactly, syntactic copy-paste. Is that actually a healthy way to view language? I mean, reducing it to an algorithm.
Honestly, it is remarkably healthy for an absolute beginner.
Really?
Yeah, because it provides an illusion of total control.
Oh.
Language is inherently chaotic, right? It's full of irregular verbs, bizarre exceptions, weird spelling rules.
Oh, English especially.
Exactly. But when you are at level A1, chaos is your enemy. The magic tail metaphor strips away all of that intimidating grammatical jargon.
So they don't have to hear words like inflection or participle.
Right. The learner isn't being asked to master regular past tense inflection. They're just attaching a designated tail to a base unit. It modularizes the language for them.
Okay, I get that. But the visual presentation of this algorithm in the text is, well, it's aggressive.
How do you mean?
The ed is heavily, almost obnoxiously capitalized in all the examples. I play ed tennis. I clean my room.
Ah, yes.
Furthermore, the guide explicitly notes that this section is designed for extra slow speed. It seems to be demanding that the learner heavily exaggerate the D or T sounds at the end of the words.
Yes, it does.
Isn't that teaching them to speak unnaturally? Like, if I walk around saying, I work ed very hard, I'm going to sound ridiculous?
Well, sure, but you have to separate the ultimate goal of fluency from the immediate goal of auditory recognition.
Okay, unpack that for me.
For many non-native speakers, particularly those coming from languages with different syllable structures, the consonant clusters at the ends of English words are essentially invisible to the ear.
Wait, really? Invisible?
Practically.
Yeah.
If a native speaker says, I worked hard at normal conversational speed, the T sound at the end of worked just vanishes right into the H of hard.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I worked hard. It really does blend together.
Right. So the A1 learner literally cannot hear the grammar happening.
Ah, so the heavy capitalization and the extra slow speed, that's not about long-term pronunciation at all.
Not at all.
They are about training the ear to detect the syntax.
Exactly that. The guide is forcing the learner to pause, isolate, and magnify that phonetic trigger. It's acoustic training.
That makes so much sense.
Once the brain is trained to recognize the magic tail, the speed can gradually increase and the pronunciation will naturally soften. But you simply cannot comprehend what you cannot physically hear.
Okay, so we have the algorithm, the magic tail, and we have the auditory training. But as we established earlier, an algorithm is semantic memory.
Right.
It's easily forgotten once you close the textbook. So how do we make the learner actually care about the magic tail?
And this brings us to the core of the document.
Yes. The storytime segment titled The Busy Weekend.
This is the exact moment the textbook transforms into a stage play.
It really does. So the narrative opens on a Monday morning. We are introduced to two characters, Anna and Lukas. Anna asks the standard polite Monday question, how was your weekend?
The trap is set.
Right. And Lukas immediately launches into this completely fabricated narrative of extreme productivity. He declares, I work ED very hard.
Now consider the specific alibi Lukas constructs here. He leans entirely on the labor side of the verb dichotomy we discussed earlier.
Oh, yeah. He hits all those labor verbs.
He claims that on Saturday, he clean ED'd the whole house. And on Sunday, he cookied the big, healthy dinner. He is painting this absolute masterpiece of domestic responsibility.
But the grammar is the real star here. I was reading the stage directions included in the text.
Yes, the stage directions.
They are incredibly specific and notes that Lukas stands up tall and sounds proud of his fake chores.
That physical posture is a brilliant pedagogical cue. The text isn't just giving the learner verbs to read, it's providing the physiological state of the speaker.
Right, like he's puffing his chest out.
Exactly. Lukas is physically inflating himself to sell the lie. And because he is boasting, the text naturally necessitates the repeated emphatic use of those target past tense verbs.
I work itty, I clean itty, I cook ee.
Yes. The grammar is the literal tool he is using to construct his deception.
Okay, but let's look at Anna's reaction, because she just nods slowly and says, wow, you are a new man, Lukas.
She falls for it completely.
She totally buys the illusion. But as a pedagogical strategy, doesn't this feel a bit risky?
Why risky?
You are actively teaching a beginner how to lie. You're making them memorize a criminal's hubris. Doesn't the drama of the lie distract from the mechanics of the grammar?
Actually, it does the exact opposite.
Really?
Yes. It anchors the grammar in evolutionary psychology.
Evolutionary psychology.
Think about it. Human beings are biologically wired to pay attention to social deception.
Oh, that's true. We love drama.
We do. Gossip, reputation management, detecting free riders in a community. These are literal survival skills.
Wow.
By making Lukas a liar, the guide triggers the learner's social evaluative brain network. The learner is no longer just passively consuming a textbook. They are actively judging a peer.
That is wild. So the ed suffix is basically Trojan horsing its way into the brain inside a piece of juicy gossip.
It is the ultimate Trojan horse. As readers, we know the section is titled The Busy Weekend, but we sense the dramatic irony.
Right, we know he's lying.
We know a fall is coming. Yeah. We are waiting for Lukas to get caught. And because the learner's brain is hyper-engaged in this social tension, the linguistic data, the grammatical rule, is encoded much, much deeper in their memory.
They won't just remember the word cleaned.
Exactly. They will remember the audacity of Lukas claiming he cleaned.
Which makes the unraveling of the lie so satisfying.
Oh, it's the best part.
Just as Anna accepts this idea of Lukas as a new man, the narrative introduces a beautifully modern catalyst to destroy the illusion.
The photographic evidence.
Yes. Let's look at the turning point of the story, the photographic evidence and the digital loophole.
The linguistic math was perfect, but the data was fraudulent.
I love that. So the text uses a very simple auditory cue. Beep, Anna's phone rings. She receives a message from Lukas's unseen roommate. It's a photo, and what does the photo show? Lukas sprawled across the sofa.
Busted.
He did not clean, he did not cook, he was completely horizontal all weekend.
The introduction of the unseen roommate is such a fascinating narrative device, too.
It really is. It creates this modern triangle of accountability. Lukas thought he only had to deceive Anna, but he forgot about the surveillance state of modern cohabitation.
Right, the roommate is always watching.
And the breakdown of his bravado is instantaneous. He goes from standing tall, chest puffed out, to immediately stammering.
The text has him say, a photo.
Yeah. And he wipes his forehead. He offers this incredibly weak, deflated defense. Well, I was tired.
It's the universal physiological response to being caught red-handed.
But watch what happens to Anna's role in the dialogue here.
She completely transforms.
Yes, she instantly shifts from a supportive, slightly naive friend to this amused, relentless interrogator. And she does it by flipping the vocabulary matrix.
That's the most brilliant part.
She points at the photo, and she uses the exact same magic tail syntax that Lukas used, but she pulls exclusively from the leisure category.
Right.
She delivers her verdict. You play AD video games all day, and you watch AD TV all night.
The linguistic symmetry there is phenomenal.
It really is.
Lukas built his lie using the past tense of labor verbs. Anna dismantles his lie using the past tense of leisure verbs.
Ah, I love that contrast.
The ed suffix becomes the weapon of choice for both the criminal and the detective. It forces the learner to see the grammar applied in two completely different emotional states.
Boastful deception and righteous accusation.
Exactly.
It's absolute poetry, but I have a major bone to pick with what happens next. Because this is where the source material introduces Lukas's final, desperate defense. He is cornered by the photographic evidence. He sighs and he confesses.
But listen to the exact wording of his confession.
I know. He says, the truth is, I playED a cleaning game on the TV, so I cleanED the digital house.
It is a breathtaking conversational pivot.
I'm sorry, but this feels like pedagogical malpractice.
Malpractice. That's a strong word.
Hear me out. You are dealing with A1 learners. They are just trying to understand basic reality in a new language. And Lukas introduces a loophole that completely fractures the definition of a word. He claims he cleaned. The action occurred. The magic tale was rightfully earned. But the environment was virtual. If I'm a beginner, doesn't this teach me terrible habits?
I don't think so.
It teaches me to use words incorrectly to manipulate my way out of trouble.
I urge you to look at it from a different angle. It isn't malpractice. It is an incredibly advanced introduction to semantic ambiguity.
Semantic ambiguity. For beginners.
Yes. Look, a learner at this level is usually taught that the verb clean means picking up a physical broom and sweeping a physical floor. It has a rigid physical definition.
Right.
But language is not rigid. Language is a living, breathing tool used to navigate reality.
But his reality is a video game.
Exactly. And Lukas doesn't deny the grammatical reality of the situation. He completely accepts the syntactical rule he used the magic tale correctly.
True, grammatically he's correct.
What he does is forcefully expand the definition of the vocabulary word itself. He argues that cleaning can also mean manipulating pixels on a screen to simulate sweeping a floor.
That is just so manipulative.
But the cognitive dopamine hit of completing the chore was achieved, even if the physical house remains dirty.
He is bending reality with grammar. It's a total cop-out.
It is.
It's hilarious, yes, but linguistically, I mean, he's basically arguing simulation theory. If my avatar washes dishes in a video game, didn't I, the operator, by extension, clean something?
It is a philosophical loophole wrapped inside a beginner's grammar drill.
Yes, it is.
And while you might find it morally bankrupt, think about the impact on the learner.
Okay, I'm thinking.
Will an A1 student ever, for the rest of their life, forget how to use the word cleaned after reading this bizarre, hilarious excuse?
No, they will never forget it.
Never. The absurdity of the digital house guarantees total retention of the vocabulary.
Okay, I concede that it is memorable, but the guide doesn't just let the learner laugh at the excuse and close the book.
No, it puts them to work.
It demands participation,
Yeah.
which brings us to the final section of the document, which completely changes the format. The narrative gives way to an interactive finale called the Add the Tale interrogation game.
And this is a crucial pivot in instructional design. Up until this point, the learner has been passively receiving the story.
Right.
They have been an audience member.
Right.
Now they're forced into active production. They must generate the language themselves.
So the document outlines a 4-round interactive sequence. Anna assumes the role of the drill instructor. She provides a present tense sentence, and Lukas, and by extension, the learner who is mapping themselves onto Lukas, has to use the time machine to change it to the past tense with the ed suffix.
The progression of these 4 rounds is incredibly deliberate, by the way. It is not a randomized quiz.
No, not at all.
It is a psychological unspooling of the character we just spent the whole lesson getting to know.
Let's actually walk through it. Round 1, Anna prompts, I work hard.
And Lukas translates, add the magic ED, I work ED hard.
Round 2, Anna prompts, I cook dinner.
Lukas responds, time machine, I cook ED dinner.
Notice what is happening in the subtext here.
Oh, it's brilliant. Rounds 1 and 2 directly mirror the exact lies Lukas told at the beginning of the story.
Exactly.
The exercise is forcing the learner to actively construct the falsehoods. They are physically walking in Lukas's deceitful footsteps, applying the grammatical algorithm to the very words that caused all the trouble.
That is so devious. You aren't just practicing conjugation, you are role-playing the liar.
Yes.
You are feeling the mechanical construction of the deception on your own tongue.
It creates seamless narrative continuity between the story phase and the drill phase. The learner doesn't feel like they are taking a test. They feel like they are acting in a play.
That's a great way to put it.
But then we hit round 3, which marks a significant psychological shift.
Okay, round 3, Anna changes the prompt. She says, I watch TV. And Lukas responds, my favorite hobby, I watch ED TV.
The facade drops.
Yep.
He is no longer pretending to be the highly productive, chore-loving new man. He is leaning into his true, leisure-loving self.
Right. He literally admits it's his favorite hobby.
Exactly. He breaks the mechanical rhythm of the drill to inject a personal opinion. The psychological armor is coming off. He is getting comfortable with the truth.
Which perfectly sets up round 4, and I love how the text presents this. It explicitly labels round 4 with the words, the climax, right there in parentheses.
Yes.
Anna abruptly stops asking for grammatical translations. She drops the drill instructor persona entirely.
Okay.
She stops testing his syntax and asks a direct narrative question. And what did Lukas really do on the weekend?
This is the moment of ultimate pedagogical synthesis.
It is. Because Lukas responds, but he doesn't respond with a translation formula. He responds with a genuine apology and a factual statement. I'm sorry, I play ED video games.
Consider why the author structured the game this way. I mean, why not just provide a list of 10 random sentences to translate?
Because that would be boring.
Right. But more importantly, the guide uses the mechanical ED rule as a track, but maps it onto Lukas's psychological journey.
Oh, wow.
He moves from deception to slipping out of character to a full, vulnerable confession. Right memorization is transformed into an emotional release.
What I find so brilliant is how that final round completely abandons the time machine framing.
It shatters the fourth wall.
It really does. It breaks the fourth wall of the exercise to resolve the tension of the story. The learner is no longer just a student conjugating a verb. They have become Lukas's conscience.
Exactly.
They're confessing on his behalf.
It is a masterful transition from focusing on form to focusing on meaning.
Form to meaning.
Yeah, so in the first 3 rounds, the learner's brain is heavily focused on the form, remembering to add the tail, remembering the phonetic sound.
Right, the mechanics.
But in the climax, the focus shifts entirely to meaning. The learner has to understand the context of the entire soap opera, comprehend Anna's sudden narrative question, and generate an answer that is not only grammatically correct, but factually true within the universe of the story. It proves that the learner has internalized the rule so deeply that they can now use it spontaneously to tell the truth.
It really is a masterclass in how to teach something dry.
Ooh.
I mean, you start by giving the student a simple mathematical formula, a magic tale. You hide that formula inside a domestic dispute over dirty dishes and video games. You let a roommate blow the whistle.
Classic roommate move.
And you end by forcing the student to publicly confess to the crime.
It aligns perfectly with how human beings organically acquire language in the real world.
Right. We don't just memorize charts.
No, we don't acquire fluency by staring at verb charts in a sterile room. We acquire language by navigating complex social situations.
That is so true.
We learn words because we need to defend ourselves or tell a story or exaggerate an accomplishment or eventually apologize for getting caught in a lie.
Right.
Language is a social tool, and this guide treats it as such from day one.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what is the core takeaway for you, the listener?
It's a big one.
We've seen how Lesson 67 takes the mechanics of regular past tense verbs and breathes an incredible amount of life into them.
Yeah.
Information without context is just noise that your brain will filter out. But information embedded in a narrative anchored by human conflict becomes permanent knowledge.
And the application goes far beyond language learning, really. If you are trying to absorb any complex system, you have to find the narrative within it.
Think about your own life. The next time you are tasked with learning something fundamentally unexciting.
Oh, like mastering a new inventory software at work.
Exactly. Or learning a complicated workplace compliance procedure or studying for a certification. Ask yourself how you can attach a story to the data.
Create your own Lukas.
Create a scenario where the information is the difference between getting caught in a lie and getting away with it. As we saw today, the human brain will hold on to the gossip of a fake busy weekend far longer than it will hold on to a spelling rule.
Absolutely. And beyond the learning strategies, the document leaves us with some rather profound implications about the very nature of the language we use every day.
Which brings me to the final, slightly philosophical thought I want to leave you with today.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Let's look back at Lukas's desperate, brilliant loophole. I clean AD the digital house.
Right, the simulation defense.
He played a simulator about doing chores and claimed the verb for himself. As our own lives become increasingly entwined with digital spaces.
Which they are, constantly.
Yeah, as we spend more of our waking hours in virtual reality, massive online games, and digital workspaces, will the line between physical actions and virtual actions begin to fracture our everyday vocabulary entirely?
It is the next great linguistic frontier. The dictionaries will have to adapt to the reality of the users.
Exactly. When you log off your computer today and tell your partner that you built a fortress or visited a new city or farmed a field, are those words slowly shedding their physical definitions?
That's a fascinating question.
If the action happens purely in a digital space, but the cognitive effort was real, does the magic tale still apply? Have you fundamentally changed what it means to experience the past tense?
I guess we'll find out.
It is definitely something to chew on the next time you spend your entire Saturday playing a simulation game and try to convince your friends you worked all weekend.
Good luck with that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.